now accepting submissions for KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorials like this one.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Recently, I listened to a Tavis Smiley show conversation with James Farr. James said something that caught me off guard. Black Altadena is gone. My community is being murdered. I said murdered.
All you have to do is go to our website homepage at KBLA1580.com and click on the icon that says KBLA Guest Editorials to learn more about our editorial standards and content submission guidelines. As long as the topic aligns with our mission, we are happy to review your submission and consider it for broadcast. We can't make any promises, but we want to amplify progressive perspectives that are community-focused and solution-oriented. So go to KBLA1580.com right now to download all the information you need about our guest editorials. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Cowboy Carter, time to strike a match and light up this juke joint.
One by one, you hang them high. Your hands are steady and you sleep at night. How did you turn your heart to stone? I don't want them back, but I can't let go. Hangman, answer me now. You owe me a debt, you stole him from me. I hated you once, I envy you now. Just tell me how, tell me how.
Oh, she got that water, Hangman got that water. Don't act like you don't know. Giddy up, hey. Don't pay me in gold. Giddy up, back outside, I'm on the road. Giddy up, hey. When the sun goes down, lay up, hey. Can hear her body howl.
Let me tell you something. 50 years from now, when we are at the senior center, enjoying some sort of electric slide modification, we're gonna be bad, right? Because this is the soundtrack that we are gonna be grooving to. You're listening to and streaming a More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai, your host and White House correspondent, not at the White House today, as I'm back home here in LA in studio. You know who else not at the White House? The president. He's in Scotland right now. And so, it's summertime and we're summering. Be sure to be in touch. I stay in touch for sure. Be sure to follow me on all the social media platforms at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. Just type in Dr. Nii-Q, DRNIIQ, and there I am, fresh for you to follow. Last but not least, download the KBLA app to listen to us live or on demand, or simply tell Alexa to play KBLA Talk 1580, and there we are for your listening pleasure. Last but not least, subscribe. Did I mention subscribe to a More Perfect Union podcast? That way you will never miss an episode. Look, for folks who went out to the Cowboy Carter concert in a city near you, y'all got your lives. We get it. We see it all over social media. I feel like every other post was related to the outstanding job that Beyonce did while on the road. I mean, this is someone who is raising the bar. Not just with every new album, not just with every new tour, but she's raising the bar almost with every concert. I mean, for the folks that saw her here in LA, and then the people who saw her in Philly, in Texas, for the folks who saw them in Vegas, they ain't been the same since. They have not been the same since watching that Destiny's Child reunion. And you know what else isn't the same? That paper. Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour wraps as the biggest country tour in Billboard box score history on Saturday night, Beyonce played the last of 32 shows on her Cowboy Carter tour. And according to figures reported to Billboard Box Score, it grossed, get this, $407.6 million and sold 1.6 million tickets, thus making it the highest grossing country tour in Box Score history. Let's give her a round of applause. I mean, I think that's deserving of a round of applause, don't you think? The Cowboy Carter Tour, it follows a pattern established by Beyonce's Renaissance World Tour, which broke the same record in R&B when it wrapped with $579.8 million in 2023. Cowboy Carter's tour, country heavy set, it marks her swerve from one genre to the another. But what can't Beyonce Knowles Carter do? What can't she do? So congratulations to Beyonce. I hope she's getting some good rest after giving us so many great memories. And speaking of Black excellence, shout out to all the folks over at Morgan State, including but not limited to our More Perfect Union intern, Journey Burris. She's a Morgan State student. She'll be a junior this fall. She's not alone in being a part of the magic at Morgan State. Afrotech reporting that Morgan State drove $1.5 billion to Maryland in 2024 and backed over 8,000 jobs, proving the power of HBCUs. You see, according to an updated economic report released just this past November, Morgan State University contributes $1.5 billion annually. That's just to Maryland's economy. They support over 8,000 jobs directly and indirectly, and they generate an estimated $71 million in state tax revenue. So for folks out there that are talking about HBCUs out the side of their mouth as if, we're not punching above our weight class, as if HBCUs aren't punching above their weight class, here are some of the numbers here. Additionally, Morgan State University in Baltimore, they contribute $891 million specifically to Baltimore City's economy and $1.4 billion to the Baltimore metro area. And so, big shout out to all the Morgan State alum out there who've known about the magic of Morgan for a long time. But to the existing students and faculty, keep doing what you're doing. It's making a big, big difference. Speaking of making a big, big difference, MotherJones.com is reporting that under Trump, Paramount's merger deal, it must include a bias monitor. Did you all see this? I saw this, and again, this is another one of those red flashing lights. This is not normal. Again, for the people in the back, this is not normal. On Thursday, the head of the Federal Communications Commission, Brendan Carr, he approved the $8 billion merger between Skydance Media and Paramount, a deal that would allocate more than $1 billion towards the latter company's staggering debt. But the agreement came with one major caveat. The media company must appoint a bias monitor. According to reporting from The Wrap, an FCC ombudsman would work directly with the new Paramount president, Jeff Shell, to review, quote, any complaints of bias or other concerns regarding CBS News, a subsidiary under Paramount. Paramount also agreed to eliminate its diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, including scrapping all DEI messaging from its internal training programs and removing DEI objectives in its compensation plans. Of course, this move comes after the company announced the cancellation of The Late Show with Steve Colbert, only a few days after he had critiqued the network's recent settlement with the president. You might remember earlier this month, Paramount agreed to cough up $16 million to Trump after the president sued the network, alleging unfair editing in an interview with Kamala Harris, an accusation that many legal experts have called baseless. I mean, this is more than bending the knee. A bias monitor? And if they can get away with this at CBS, they've already put all the other networks on notice. Again, this is not normal. What is normal are life coaches. And there's a new movie out called The Life Coach, which is a stirring and emotionally resonant drama that follows Gary Johnson, this celebrated life coach who inspires thousands, yet privately wrestles with the trauma of his past. When we come forward, we're going to meet the writer, director, and producer of this film that is sweeping up awards and film festivals across the country and beyond. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More with Patricia Bebia when we come forward.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time. Whenever news breaks, while we're on the air, it's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580. And we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you, thank you.
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, please visit fvgradio.com. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now, 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $498. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $498. What are you waiting for? Call 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431, and give us your answer. The proceeding is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways and not sponsored by this program or its affiliates.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cow Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We have no permanent friends or permanent enemies. Only permanent interests. As we effort to build a more perfect union.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai in afternoon drive time, along with Patricia Bebia. She is the writer, director, and producer of an acclaimed film that folks are buzzing about. It's called The Life Coach, and it is snatching up a lot of awards across the country and beyond. The Life Coach, it marks her feature film directorial debut, garnering 12 international awards and widespread acclaim. Not bad for a directorial debut. Welcome to the show, Patricia.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Talk to us about where the concept for this movie, The Life Coach, where did the concept come from? Certainly here in sunny Los Angeles and so many places across the country and around the world, life coaches have become pretty popular. But what inspired you to turn that role that so many people lean into a thriller?
Yeah, thanks for the question. We live in a world where people tend to wear masks and pretend that everything is okay when sometimes they're dealing with, some issues. So I wanted to bring to the fore the story of a man who is perfect, trying to help other people with their issues, but needs saving himself. It started with me just trying to tell me that story, a man that had developmental delays and was, rejected by his father, because of that. And then eventually he overcame those delays and was successful in his life, but actually was plagued by the demons of his past. And this character in this story is dealing with issues that many people do not expect, because they expect him to be perfect, which is what we see in the world today. People who have perfect lives in the public's eye and have issues that they're hiding from the world. So this is how the story came about, and I think it's a much needed story in this time that we're in, and that's why it's resonating and winning all these awards.
Yeah, and what's so interesting to me about the story is that it's a story that really has the African diaspora represented in this story, right? And so talk to us about your decision to focus the story not squarely in American culture, but going beyond American culture. There are a lot of folks that would think that life coaches are not very popular in other parts of the Black diaspora. Talk to us about your decision to focus the story that way.
Yeah, the main character in this film, Gary Johnson, is Black. And we know that, the CDC, for instance, has revealed statistics that show that 60% more Black men are committing suicide, in the last 20 years than previously. And we have a lot of children growing up in, fatherless households, kids being raised by single moms. So there's a problem of fatherlessness, which this movie, talks about. And masculinity is something that is glorified in the Black community. And we have men who sometimes are dealing with issues, but they, not allowed to show vulnerability. So this story, is saying to men, it's okay to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's a sign of strength, actually. And I wanted us to also normalize this conversation around mental health, to just give people permission to, start conversations about it, which the main character in this film is dealing with mental health challenges, even though he's in the public eye. So he's also saying, mental health challenges, challenges not a respecter of persons. You can be a celebrity, you can be a CEO. It doesn't matter what position you're in. You can actually have some mental health struggles. So all these themes we're dealing with in this film are themes that are plaguing us as a Black, community worldwide. And I just wanted to bring that to the fore so that we can actually start conversations about them.
And what were some of the tensions in this conversation around Black masculinity, around Black mental health? What were some of the tensions that really spoke to you, tensions across the Black diaspora, that inspired you to tease that out in this film, The Life Coach?
Yeah, so there was a time I host a TV show in Canada, also run a 24-hour TV channel, which I co-own. And there was a time we had a show, there was a movie called The Sun, and I was interviewing the cast and crew, and it was Father's Day, and I started to ask them to say a word to their fathers. And as they were actually answering this question, I discovered that about 80% of them, they were like, I think 7 or so cast members that I was interviewing, and I think about 5 out of 7 did not have their fathers in their lives. And I was like, whoa, and also statistics shows that a lot of the Black men in, correctional facilities are men that didn't have their fathers in their lives. So there is a problem of fatherlessness. So the intersection of fatherlessness and, mental health issues or crime or poverty and all these situations that, a lot of people find themselves in, just kind of made me want to draw attention to all this. And also to let people know that sometimes when people are not presenting the way they should, when they are on the wrong side of the law or doing all those things, is because of what they've been through. So hurting people hurt other people. And it's time for us as a society not to overlook that and to actually put things in place to help men as well. Because we often talk about women who are abused, and that's in the film as well. How vulnerable women can be, but I also don't want us to forget the men, because our men do need saving and they do need help as well.
Talk to us about some of the woman characters, the female characters in this film. I'm sure if the main character, the life coach, were a woman, this would be a very different film. Talk to us about what is it about the mom character, for example, that really offers the main character the healing that he needs and the healing that he resists at the same time.
Yeah, I will try without giving it away.
Yes.
So the female characters in this film are quite strong. Gary's mom, for instance, is like his saving grace. So after being rejected by his father for having developmental delays, his mother becomes like his strength, his backbone. And she's the one that raised him single-handedly and made him to become who he became, be it, praying for him, or just raining positive affirmations on him and just loving him and loving him to a point where he could believe in himself enough to pursue his dreams as a life coach. So his mom was that person that was there for him, but she was also a victim, abused by, his dad as well. So she was abused by her husband, but stayed because she's a Christian woman. And at the end, we get to understand how her staying in this, tumultuous marriage affected her son. At some point, she's confronted for some of the mistakes that she made, which is a mistake that a lot of women make in staying in abusive relationships. I won't give it away, but a pivotal part of the story is a conversation between Gary and his mom that led to, forgiveness and healing. This was like a turning point in the story.
Wow. So, this is a story that really a lot of folks can relate to. If you have a life coach or don't have a life coach, it doesn't matter, right? No. There's so many elements of this movie that are universal, and for a lot of the men out there, for a lot of the brothers out there, you may want to check out this film as a part of your own healing journey. This is not a documentary, but the main character, I found that there are elements of his story that are very much relatable. I have talked about on this show often that I have an older brother who died by suicide, Black man, obviously. And actually, today would have been his birthday.
Oh, wow.
Today would have been his birthday.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
And thank you. But everything sort of operates in divine order, because here we are having this conversation about a story that offers an opportunity for folks to check in with themselves, right? And to examine their wounds, right? And to summon the courage to share their wounds with somebody that they can trust in hopes of healing those wounds. And so, health is from the neck up and neck down. And this film really, really delves into that. there's been a lot of talk about masculinity. A lot of folks talk about toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Would you say that this main character exhibited toxic masculinity?
Actually, his father did. So his father did, and as a ripple effect, you know how it is. So he is like a victim of his father's excessive and toxic masculinity, if you want to put it that way. But this movie speaks about the redemptive power of love, which is so lacking in the world today, and the power of authentic human connections, and how that can save a human being who is actually drowning. Our hashtag is keep sailing always. Meaning that the things that are weighing you down, those unresolved traumas, what you do not confront, the trauma that you do not confront, to end up controlling you. It's just a movie that will grip you in a way that you've never experienced before, and force you to think about the deep things that are actually weighing you down, that are keeping you from sailing.
Yeah. The things I like that, the things that are keeping you from sailing. And if I could add to that, I always like to encourage people, be a lighthouse. Be a lighthouse, because you never know how far your light can be seen, and the path it may illuminate for other folks. When we come forward, I want to continue this conversation with the writer, director, and producer, Patricia Bebia. She's the writer, director, and producer of the Life Coach movie, which is garnering lots of awards. They are the recipient of the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal, among so many other distinguished honors. Lots of talk around engaging men, particularly young men coming off of the 2024 U.S. election. I want to ask the writer, director, producer how American culture and some of the examples of masculinity in American culture, how that might have influenced how she wrote and directed this film. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More with Patricia Bebia when we come forward.
The audience is listening, thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Broward School Superintendent Dr. Howard Hepburn, who is Black, delivered his State of the District today, celebrating the Florida District's second straight A rating.
And among Florida's 5 largest school districts, we're one of only 2 that have no D or rated F schools. That deserves a round of applause.
This year's theme is Dash to the Dream, Voices of 2038, the graduation year for today's kindergartners. Concord, North Carolina's Bubba Wallace made history Sunday, becoming the first Black driver to win the NASCAR Brickyard 400. It's his third career win and the first for Michael Jordan's number 23 team. And as the North Carolina General Assembly reconvenes, Republicans are expected to try overriding several of Governor Josh Stein's 14 vetoes, including bans on DEI programs and new immigration and gender laws. They need just one Democratic vote in the House to succeed. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Tough in Highland Park with this crash on the 110 northbound before Marmion Way. Right lane is blocked. Delays away from Avenue 60. Norwalk on the 5 northbound at Norwalk Boulevard. It's a wreck. The left lane off limits and that drive is slow moving away from Rosecrans. In Fullerton, they're wrapping up a wreck on the 57 southbound before Nutwood. Delays is pretty heavy away from Lambert. And in San Bernardino, stall for the 10 eastbound before Waterman. In the center divider, delays from Mount Vernon Avenue.
This summer, come aboard Long Beach's iconic Queen Mary. With guided tours, 25-plus exhibits, and decades of history to explore, it's the perfect day out. Make your way to the Queen Mary and experience it all for yourself. For more information, visit queenmary.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
University of Colorado football coach Deion Sanders confirmed Monday morning that he had been treated the past 3 months for bladder cancer. The 57-year-old Sanders had surgery in May to remove his bladder. Doctors treating Sanders said the surgery was successful and that he is now cancer-free. Deion spoke about his condition at a press conference. Today was the first time any information had been revealed about Deion's health. Since May, University of Colorado officials would only say that Deion was away from the team for an undisclosed medical condition. Deion told reporters that he was grateful to get an early diagnosis, which helped his recovery. Deion said he lost 25 pounds, but still intends to coach the team this season. Deion is preparing for his third season at Colorado. Last year, Colorado was 9-4, their best season since a 10-4 finish in 2016. We wish Deion well. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we aim to foster enlightening, sustainable, restorative dialogue, and we welcome unapologetically progressive viewpoints that empower fellow citizens. We are now accepting submissions for KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorials like this one.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Recently, I listened to a Tavis Smiley Show conversation with James Falk. James said something that caught me off guard. Black Altadena is gone. My community is being murdered. I said murdered.
All you have to do is go to our website homepage at KBLA1580.com and click on the icon that says KBLA Guest Editorials to learn more about our editorial standards and content submission guidelines. As long as the topic aligns with our mission, we are happy to review your submission and consider it for broadcast. We can't make any promises, but we want to amplify progressive perspectives that are community-focused and solution-oriented. So go to KBLA1580.com right now to download all the information you need about our guest editorials. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, also known as AD, a type of dementia that affects memory, thinking, and behavior, making everyday tasks challenging. But did you know that Black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? There are things you can do to help reduce your risk for developing AD. Managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure is crucial. Staying physically active, maintaining social connections, eating a healthy diet, and keeping your mind engaged with activities like reading or puzzles can all contribute to brain health. It's also important to recognize some common signs and symptoms of early AD, such as forgetfulness that causes problems with everyday life, asking the same question a few times in a row, and difficulty concentrating on basic tasks. If you see these signs in yourself or a loved one, don't wait. Early diagnosis and intervention are key to managing AD effectively. To learn more about AD and a potential treatment option, visit treatallzearly.com. That's treatallzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hit me! National news of consequence, informed opinion, and analysis beyond the headlines. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai, and she is Patricia Bebia. She is the writer, director, and producer of the Life Coach movie, which is snatching up awards across the country. If you have a chance, you should absolutely attend the screening. There's a screening that's coming up here in the Los Angeles area in Glendale. Is that right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, at Lux Cinemas.
Where can people go to participate in that screening?
Yeah, you just go to lookcinemas.com and get a ticket. It's going to be at the Glendale Cinema on August 1st. And the stars of the movie are going to be there, and some, celebrities from the local LA area as well. And, like Mr. Rich Lawson and some others will be there, as well as the main characters in this film. 5 of them are actually going to be flying in. So Look Cinemas. And then we're going to go to New York, Dallas, Atlanta, DMV, and other cities. You can find all on the Look Cinema website, actually. We're almost sold out, so make sure if you're interested in coming, you get your ticket as soon as possible.
Move quick, move quick. We know that Richard Lawson, he is a friend of the show. We've had him on a few times, and so it's going to be a screening that you don't want to miss. Talk to us about just your inspiration as a writer, director, producer. You are a triple threat. We don't see nearly enough gender balance when it comes to folks behind the scenes, folks writing these stories. Talk to us about what inspired you to be a triple threat.
Wow, I've written a lot of scripts, and I kind of wanted to particularly bring this script to life, and I thought it would be easier if I kind of directed it, because even when I was building the characters, and I think I just wanted to, and I've been producing, on TV for over 30 years. I've been a TV producer. I've produced over 15 television shows. So I've had experience, doing TV, and I wanted to delve into film, and I thought this would be a perfect opportunity for me to, just, direct it. And then producing it just came naturally because of the business side of things, Yeah, but I think as a woman, we have a very interesting perspective to things, especially the story that focuses on, how an inflated masculinity can affect not just the children, but the wife and society as a whole. I thought being told from the lens of a woman, really makes the story. It brings out the humanity in different aspects of the story, which I think is the reason this story is really resonating with so many people around the world.
Patricia, what was the biggest challenge writing about masculinity when you were first committing this story to paper? What was the biggest challenge for you as a Black woman, creating characters and communicating some of the struggles, both seen and unseen, when it comes to Black masculinity?
A very good question, because when I was actually writing the story, I wanted to make sure that, the character, the villain had redemption. Because it was also, my dad's story was like the backdrop of this, script, it made it easy for me because I had something to fall back on. But at the same time, I just wanted to also make sure that the character had redemption. And, we understand at the end of the movie that, a hurting person had another person, and that this character was not just born bad. This character, society made him bad. Some of the experiences he had, his own struggles, his own, childhood trauma, which is trapped in him and was unresolved, is what is now, showing forth in him being an abusive father, which in turn has caused the trauma that the life coach, his son, is dealing with, and also the mental struggles that he's dealing with. I think my goal was to ensure that I told the story with dignity, respect, and from an empathetic standpoint.
To your point around wanting to tell the story that allowed the main character and other characters to be able to maintain some sense of dignity and respect, talk to us about why you chose to make the main character a life coach as opposed to making them a therapist or some other professional. What was it about life coach that drew you in?
Because I feel like as a coach, you're a man that has, or a woman that has the answers. People come to you for answers. You seem to know what to say, what to tell people, and you're kind of like helping other people to be a better version of themselves. And, if you have issues, you need a coach as well. So which is kind of like, a boomerang effect. So I wanted to bring a profession that people expect, whoever is in that profession to know the answers, to have it all, and not to be someone that's wearing a mask. Because a lot of times, your coach or your therapist, they tend to tell you to be authentic, to be true to yourself. But then this person is having the struggles. So I wanted, to choose a profession that will kind of showcase it's sort of like the lack of vulnerability that this character was portraying because of his masculinity and his fear of being found out, which is what we see in the world today. People who are just afraid of losing everything if people get to know who they are, so they wear masks. And then, if this mask is threatened, then we see their downfall. And it just, kind of just mirroring what's happening in society today.
And speaking of what's happening in society, before we went to break, I had sort of teed up this question around the U.S. presidential election in 2024. And when you look at a lot of exit polls, there are a lot of folks that zero in on the fact that a lot of men in particular voted for now President Trump. There were a number of men, particularly Gen Z men. Talk to us about some of the tensions that you have observed, not just here in the U.S., but around the world, between generations of men. And how did you allow that to play out in your new film, The Life Coach?
Yeah. So I'll just say, there's a leadership deficit in the world today. And there's a relentless focus on, masculinity, toughness, stoicism, and dominance, especially dominance, which is kind of scary. So you see that people are not looking for a leader. They're looking for a very narrow sense of, masculinity, and a very narrow sense of ideal when it comes to choosing a leader, which shouldn't be. That's why I said there's a leadership deficit. But there's also, I feel like, because they always say that the people get the leader that they deserve. I heard someone say that, and I think it's true. So which means that if there's a leadership deficit, then we as a people, there is a morality deficit. So we're kind of not choosing the leaders that we should, because, we get the leaders that we deserve. Is what people say. So we should ask ourselves, why are we choosing this way? Why is this person being put to the fore? But I don't like to delve into politics because I'm an artist. I like to stay in my lane. But I think as a society we need to examine ourselves a bit more. Are we really seeking for leadership, or are we seeking for some other thing? The character in this film, he's looking for an opportunity to make a difference, but he's kind of trapped. He's trapped in his emotional struggle, in his pain. He's trapped by what society thinks about him. He's trapped by, what society demands of him. And I think sometimes we either do not demand enough of our leaders, or we demand too much of our leaders. I think there should be some sort of a balance where people are allowed to be vulnerable, and at the same time, people are allowed to, exemplify qualities that will qualify them to be called leaders. I hope I've answered.
No, you did. I think you answered it. You answered it honestly. I think you answered it beautifully. And I think for folks that want to delve in any more, they can check out this film. It's set against the backdrop, again, of modern societal pressures. The film very thoughtfully explores mental health and masculinity and the silent burdens often carried by leaders in the public eye, especially amongst folks in the Black community and in other underrepresented communities. And so The Life Coach, it is screening in cities across the country. Where can people go to tap in places like California, Texas, Georgia, Virginia, New York, as the film hits screens? Where can people go to get their tickets and learn more about this extraordinary film?
lookcinemas.com, LOOK cinemas with S. So lookcinemas.com is where you want to go. We also have a website for the film, which is thelifecoachfilm.com. You can also check us out on social media, at The Life Coach Film. Our Our social media handles are on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and X as well.
Our thanks to Patricia Bebia. She is the writer, director, producer, triple threat. When it comes to the Life Coach movie, this is her directorial debut. I have no doubt there will be other films. Congratulations, Patricia.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580, the quiet part out loud when we come forward.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
During this time, it's important for everyone to know your rights. The 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments in the U.S. Constitution protects every one of us, regardless of immigration status. The 4th Amendment requires a judicial warrant to search your home. The 5th protects your right to remain silent, and the 6th gives you the right to an attorney. Just remember,
No warrant, no key, my privacy. You don't have to speak. No lawyer inside. Don't say a thing. Yeah, we all got rights. Hey, we all got rights.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Notable journalists, industry leaders, lawmakers, change makers, tastemakers, and you. Working to build a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. In our first hour, we alerted you to some breaking news afoot in New York City. We have an update on that. ABC News reporting that there are 3 dead, including an off-duty police officer in Midtown Manhattan shooting. A man wielding a long gun shot. A long gun. He was shot and killed. He shot and killed 3 people, including an off-duty police officer working security in Midtown Manhattan. The incident occurred in an office building located at 345 Park Avenue. And after apparently barricading himself on the 33rd floor, the suspect was found dead from what is believed to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Surveillance footage captured the suspect outside the building, armed with a long gun. The motive is currently under investigation. There's a lockdown at the office building, which contains the headquarters for investment company Blackstone and the National Football League. It's unclear if those companies or any company in the building were tied to the shooting. And some of the employees inside 345 Park Avenue have been advised that the threat has been resolved, but are being asked to continue to shelter in place and only leave the building with police escort. And so again, ABC News reporting that 3 people are dead, including an off-duty police officer in that Midtown Manhattan shooting. Turning to other news, Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri, guess what he did? He introduced a bill to send tariff rebate checks to Americans. Can you believe it? Well, it's all in the details. Republican Senator Josh Hawley, he introduced legislation today to provide tariff rebate checks of at least $600 per adult and child to American families, similar to the stimulus check the government distributed during the COVID pandemic. Senator Hawley submitted his legislation after having pledged to do so on Friday, after President Trump told reporters he would be interested in sending a tariff-related rebate check to Americans. Hawley, who championed stimulus check legislation with Senator Bernie Sanders during the COVID pandemic in 2020, put forward the new bill to echo that past effort. The program would be set up as a refundable tax credit, with the government sending checks this year should the bill advance through Congress and get Trump's signature. The bill would ensure that each adult and independent child would get at least $600. It would also allow a larger rebate per person should tariff revenue exceed projections. The bill will reduce the rebate by 5% for joint filers who have adjusted gross income in excess of $150,000, a head of household whose income exceeds $112,000, and individual taxpayers whose income exceeds $75,000. And so this is an interesting development. You know why? So if you've lost your Medicaid, if you're one of those millions of Americans that will lose your Medicaid because of the severe cuts, almost $900 billion in cuts to Medicaid from the so-called Big Beautiful Bill. So getting a $600 stimulus check, right? Look, somebody sends me a $600 check, thanks, right? But be sure that the right hand is watching what the left hand is doing. Right hand, left hand. And if in one hand they're saying, hey, here's this $600 check. Here's your cut from the tariff money that's been coming in. But, with this hand over here, we're cutting your Medicare or Medicaid. Cutting your Medicaid, we're cutting your WIC. We are going to be cutting your housing vouchers, right? Those cuts amount to more than that little $600, that one-time $600 payment. In other words, don't get got. Don't fall for the okie doke. Not to mention that the so-called Big Beautiful Bill is expected to grow our federal deficit by $3.8 trillion. And so, no plan yet to cut the deficit. Let's just keep putting it on the credit card. Keep putting it on the credit card. And so how much of this is just a message bill? Something that Republicans get to talk about versus something that's going to be real and translate to real cash money in people's hands? But that still skirts around the main issue, which is what are you going to do about the health care that people have lost? What are you going to do about that? I'll never forget hearing the impact story of Heidi, the public school teacher in D.C. We featured her remarks on the show a few weeks ago, along with Reverend William Barber. But at a protest on the steps of the U.S. Supreme Court, this is right before the bill passed, she reminded folks that, you know, as somebody who is physically disabled that depends on home health aides to help get her ready for work so she can show up and work and so she can participate and be in community, she was worried about losing that support from that home health aide because of cuts to Medicare. I don't know what a $600 one-time check is going to do to help Miss Heidi to sleep better at night. But that's a conversation for another day. You've been listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We'll have to leave it here. My thanks to the entire village helps us produce the show each and every day. Our executive producer, Tavis Smiley. Our sound engineer, Brother Andy. To our show producers, Faraji, Art, and Journey. And, of course, to each and every one of you, all of our leaders, learners, and listeners. We curate the show every day with you in mind. Be sure to remember, don't panic, organize. Do what you can from where you are with what you have, but by all means, do something. You've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
Family, doctors, and God. Singer Sierra recently received official citizenship from the West African nation of Benin. The ceremony, attended by government